You lie still, your breath quiet, your thoughts beginning to drift. Above you, in your mind's gentle theater, stretches the endless ocean. Imagine it now, a curtain of blue, drawn tight across the sky. It ripples in soft folds, catching, light like silk held in the wind. But you are no longer at the surface. You are sinking slowly, gently, like a feather falling through water. The waves grow distant. Their voice fades. What was once sharp with motion becomes slow, stretched, softened. Above you, the surface glimmers, then dims. The world you know, sun and sky, noise and haste, remains up there, slowly being swallowed by distance. You pass through the shallows first. Here, the water is dappled with light, as if sunlight were trying to remember the shape of the world beneath it. Fish dart past in quick flashes, like scattered thoughts. Sea grass sways in rhythm with a tide that feels older than time. You are still close to the familiar here, but already something deeper calls you. With every slow breath, you sink lower. The colors begin to fade. Reds go first, and oranges and yellows. The blue stays longer, loyal to its own domain, but even that will fade too. Your eyes adjust, but not to darkness, to something quieter, something more hushed than shadow, a world that doesn't need to be seen to be felt. As you descend, pressure builds around you, not in a fearful way, but in a way that wraps like a weighted blanket for the planet. Every layer of water above you presses down, slow and steady, like the earth exhaling in reverse. And yet, you are not crushed. Your body adapts. It remembers, perhaps from before memory itself, what it is to be held by the sea, here in the twilight. Layers, life slows. There is less food, less light, less hurry. Creatures have learned to wait, to drift, to be still. A jellyfish pulses beside you, its body like a translucent moon. It glows faintly, like a thought forming in the dark. Around it, smaller organisms trace soft trails of motion, invisible until you look just right. The ocean is not empty. It is simply unhurried. The farther you go, the more the water forgets warmth. The sunlight no longer reaches you. Temperatures fall. You feel it not as cold, but as stillness. A perfect, uninterrupted calm. Your limbs grow weightless. You're no longer sinking. You're floating, held in place by the invisible arms of the sea. Beneath you lies the mesopelagic zone, sometimes called the twilight zone. It stretches like a dreamscape, too deep for sun, too shallow for fire. Here, strange lives bloom in the in-between. Fish with long teeth and larger eyes, adapted to spot glimmers in near darkness. They see what you cannot. They live in a realm that is not built for you, and yet, for this moment, it allows you to pass. The silence here is total, but it is not empty. It is the kind of silence that listens back. Your heart slows to match it. Your thoughts become fewer and farther between. You are not alone, and yet nothing approaches. The ocean watches. It waits. Not with menace, but with knowing. The animals down here live differently. They survive not by noise or speed, but by elegance. They move with intention, or not at all. Many are translucent, the better to vanish. Others carry lights within them, glowing faintly like candles held in their ribs. Bioluminescence, it's called. A miracle stitched into their DNA. They make their own light, not to shine, but to signal. To say, I am here. I am alive. I see you too. Some flash when threatened. Some flash to attract mates. Some use light to trick prey into swimming closer. It is a quiet language, one of glow, not growl. Down here, no one needs to shout to be understood. The water thickens, the pressure grows, and still you sink. But the deeper you go, the more it feels like rising, Not toward the surface, but toward the center of something older. Older than maps. Older than bones. You begin to understand, not with facts, but with feeling. The ocean is not a place. It is a memory, a shared memory written in the molecules of life. Your own body is mostly water. The salt in your blood echoes the sea. Somewhere, far back in time, your ancestors left this place to walk on land. But tonight, in stillness, you return, not with fins or gills, but with wonder. Even here, life continues. Life persists. It grows slowly. It glows gently. It waits without complaint. The ocean does not rush anything. And so, you too begin to forget urgency. There is nothing to chase down here. Only currents to follow. Only moments to float inside. You notice how even your breath feels different now. Not pulled, but invited. Not taken, but offered. The rise and fall of your chest becomes the tide. Your body, this quiet vessel, hums softly with the rhythm of the deep. And now, deeper still, something appears below you. Not a creature, not yet, but a presence. A stillness within stillness. It is darker here, quieter. The edges of your awareness blur. And just as the sky holds stars, so too does the deep hold mysteries you are only beginning to sense. Something ancient stirs. Something that has not seen light for 1,000 years. You are near the edge now, the boundary between where sunlight ends and secrets begin. You pause, you float dot, you wait dot, and beneath you. As silent as thought, as massive as myth, something breathes in the dark. You float in stillness, a gentle breath beneath miles of ocean. Above you, the last traces of sunlight flicker through water like memory through a half-remembered dream. You are not yet in darkness, but no longer in light. You have entered the twilight zone of the sea, the mesopelagic realm, a space that rests between what the sun can touch and what it can only long for. The water here is dusky blue, not black. It is the blue of faded ink, of distant mountains, of deep thoughts. The sun, now far above, sends down faint shafts of light that lose their strength in the weight of the sea. You might still see your hands here, but only just shapes blur. Colors begin to vanish, one by one. Red disappears first. To your eyes, it simply fades into gray. Orange and yellow are close behind. Green begins to dim like a lantern low on oil. Even blue, which clings longest to its brilliance, grows muted. What's left is not darkness, but softness, a gentle blur between seeing and sensing. And here, in this slow fading light, live creatures that glow with their own fire. You pass by a small fish, hardly longer than your finger, but it carries a glow in its belly, like a lantern tucked beneath a coat. Another trails dots of light along its sides, tiny constellations glowing just beneath translucent skin. These are not tricks. They are not reflections. They are bioluminescence, life making light dot in the absence of the sun. Evolution has found its own stars. Some fish glow constantly. Others pulse, like Morse code in the dark. A few can even turn their lights off, hiding in plain sight. This light is not for you. It is for them, for finding food, for confusing predators, for flirting, for warning, for guiding the way home through a sea with no roads dot you imagine. Just for a moment, your own body glowing like that. Soft blue light from your fingertips, your ribs humming with faint luminescence. The thought is not strange. In this place, it feels natural. Your breath matches the rhythm of the pulsing lights around you. Your heartbeat slows to match theirs. The deep does not rush dot this twilight water is cool. Not cold, but chilled like silk left in the shade. It brushes over your skin and reminds you that pressure is rising. You are deeper now. Your ears may not notice, but your body knows. The molecules of your being respond without fear. You were built, in some ancient way, to belong here. After all life came from this sea once. You watch a shape glide past. It's long, narrow, and almost invisible, except for the slow, soft flicker along its spine. Its name doesn't matter now. What matters is how it moves, with patience, with grace. You think of all the noise and hurry of the world above, and wonder if any of it would survive here. Likely not. Down here, silence is a survival strategy. Stillness is language. Light is emotion. You pass by a hatchetfish, its scales reflecting light, not outward but downward, so it vanishes into the shimmer below. It's as though it wears a coat made of mirrors. Another fish carries glowing organs like under-eye lanterns, scanning the darkness for silhouettes above. These are not monsters. These are engineers. Their bodies are answers to problems you've never had to solve. The deeper you go, the more surreal the ocean becomes. But it never feels hostile. It only feels old, like a library with no need for voices, like a cathedral that prefers whispers to sermons. The ocean does not explain itself. It only invites you to feel what it knows. And what it knows is balance. Up above, sunlight creates chaos, energy, storms, wind, photosynthesis. But here, in the twilight zone, things are quieter, more deliberate. Food is rare. Time moves slower. Every movement counts. Every flick of a tail, every breath, drawn from the thin oxygen held in the water, is an act of purpose. A squid the size of your hand jets past, blinking with light, then disappears. A school of lanternfish moves like drifting stars, their motion choreographed like a ballet you've never seen before. You are not intruding here. You are witnessing. You do not need to name what you see. You only need to feel it. You feel the way. The water shifts around you, heavy and calm. You feel the hush settling over your thoughts. You feel the nearness of living things, not in a crowd, but in a presence, like being in a room where everyone is quietly reading. The deep sea reads too, but it reads with touch, and with patience, and with light. Your eyes close. Not because you are tired, but because you no longer need them. You can sense the world now through other means, through rhythm, through warmth, through the language of slowing down. And as you drift in this band of dimness, your own thoughts begin to fade, just like the light above. What would it be like, you wonder, to live in a world that never truly sees the sun? Would you miss it? Or would you, like these fish, learn to become your own beacon? You think of this quietly. You do not rush the answer, because in the twilight zone, there is no hurry. Only the gentle hush of lives adapted to quiet, to patience, to the middle, place between waking and sleeping. And soon, you will begin to sink even deeper, where no sunlight comes at all, where light is born from within, or not at all, where the ocean holds its oldest dreams. There is a kind of conversation that happens without sound. No voices, no words, only light. In the deepest parts of the ocean, where sunlight dies and shadows stretch endlessly, something unexpected begins to glow. Not from the heavens, not from fire, but from life itself. This is bioluminescence, the ocean's oldest and quietest form of language. You drift downward, beyond the twilight zone, into a darkness that feels both infinite and close. All around you, there is no color now, only blackness. But then, a pulse, a flicker, a bloom of blue, like a thought rising from nothing. It flares, fades, returns again. It is not random. It is not decoration. It is expression, communication. A question, a lure, a warning, a hello. You pause. You feel your breath still in your chest. You're not afraid. You're listening. Bioluminescence is created inside the bodies of living things. Some generate it on their own. Others rely on glowing bacteria living in harmony within them. Together, they make light without heat, cold light, perfect for the water's cool embrace. The light is usually blue. Blue travels farthest in. Water, cutting through the depths like a slow arrow. But not all bioluminescence is the same. Some shine in short bursts. Others ripple in waves. Some creatures flicker when touched. Some only glow when threatened. The sea does not speak in one language. It speaks in 100 pulses, flashes, and flares. You pass by a comb jelly, not quite a jellyfish, not quite anything else. It looks like a soap bubble in moonlight. Tiny rows of hairs ripple across its surface, catching light like prisms. It doesn't generate its own glow, but it scatters light into rainbows, a kind of mimicry of bioluminescence. It floats silently, trailing. Color like memory trails through a dream. Nearby, a vampire squid unfolds. Its name is a misdirection. It doesn't suck blood or spread fear. It's gentle, shy, a relic from ancient oceans. When disturbed, it doesn't attack. It glows. Little spots along its arms, called photophores, flash with sudden blue light, like stars igniting in the blackness. It's a distraction, a way to vanish in plain sight, a curtain of brilliance thrown in the face of danger. Light in the deep is more than beauty. It is survival. A tiny shrimp below you flares suddenly, releasing a cloud of glowing blue into the water like underwater ink made of stars. In the moment of confusion, it escapes. The predator is left blinking, bewildered in a fog of light. Begin to see a pattern. In the deep sea, light replaces movement. It replaces noise. There are no shouts here, no splashes, no fleeing in panic. Instead, there are signals, messages whispered in flashes. You come upon an anglerfish, one of the Yonklif, strangest residents of the deep. Her body is shaped like a drifting teardrop, her mouth full of jagged teeth. But it's what grows from her head that matters, a long stalk ending in a glowing bulb, like a lamp hanging over her lips. It glows with a slow, steady pulse, attracting prey who mistake it for food or friend. When they come close, she snaps them into darkness. It is brutal, but not cruel. It is the language of need. Further along, tiny fish with rows of lights on their bellies drift past. These lights shine downward, matching the dim light from above. To a predator below, they seem invisible, a trick called counter-illumination, a way of erasing yourself from the ocean's view. You wonder, softly, if you have ever wished for the same thing, to become invisible in your own way, to move unseen, untouched, unjudged. The deep sea understands this wish. It teaches you that light can be both presence and disguise. And then, something unexpected. A balloon got a vast cluster of jellyfish, hundreds of them rising slowly from below. Each one pulses with light, not at random, but in rhythm. Like breath, like a silent song. Together, they form a field of moving stars, drifting upward as one. No words, no leader. Just light, just rhythm, just instinct and togetherness. You close your eyes, but still see them behind your lids. The glow lingers in your imagination. It becomes part of you. You think now of your own biology, of the fact that once, long ago, the genes that allow jellyfish to glow were borrowed by science. Researchers took those glowing proteins and used them to light up neurons in the human brain. They made your thoughts visible. They made memories shimmer under a microscope. The light of the ocean inside the mind. The glow of the deep, telling us who we are. You are not separate from the sea. You are part of it. The sodium in your blood once belonged to these waters. The electrical pulses in your nerves, they too are a kind of glow. a spark in the dark, a message in the silence. Perhaps that is why this place feels familiar, even though you've never been here. Perhaps that's why it makes sense without needing to be explained, because on some quiet level, your body already speaks this language. Bioluminescence reminds you that life finds a way to express itself, even when no one is watching, even in darkness, especially in darkness. And in that realization, there is peace. You imagine yourself glowing now, softly, not brightly. Not to be seen, but to feel yourself seen. A signal in the dark, a slow pulse, a whisper of life. Not calling for rescue, but just saying, I am here. The sea answers in kind, with a flicker, a pulse, a pause, and somewhere deeper still, something very old flickers back. Down here, in the ocean's silent cradle, where sunlight is only a rumor and time moves slow. As breath, giants stir, not with sound, not with splashing, but with the deep, deliberate grace of something that knows it's rarely seen. You hover in the stillness, and the water around you seems to hold its breath. Then, movement. Not sudden, not violent, just the faintest suggestion of size. A shadow longer than memory, broader than belief. Something enormous slides past, just far enough away to remain a question. This is not your world. This is the kingdom of the giant squid. Once, it was only a myth, told by sailors who spoke of krakens, of monsters that wrapped entire ships in their arms. For centuries, no one could prove it existed. It left only traces, beaks found in whale stomachs, sucker scars on whale skin, glimpses of its body washed ashore, long after death. It was an idea more than a fact. But the deep sea does not care about human knowing. It reveals itself only when it wishes. And now it does. A single tentacle passes beside you, not with force, but with elegance. It moves like fabric in slow water, curling, uncurling, folding upon itself. The suckers lining it are white, round, soft as moonstones. Each one can feel texture, taste molecules, hold on with quiet strength. There are hundreds of them, each one a memory, a way to explore the world. You are not touched. You are not threatened. You are simply watched, and then you see it. Not all at once, but in parts. A large eye, the largest in the animal kingdom, glimmers in the gloom. It's the size of your head, maybe larger, rimmed with light-catching cells, adapted to read even the faintest shimmer. This is an eye that can see shapes where you see nothing. It studies you, calm and ancient. It does not blink. You float there, small but unafraid. The squid does not come closer. It does not need to. It has seen you. It has filed you away. It returns to its patient swimming. Its body stretches behind it, long and lean, propelled by soft jets of water. It moves with purpose, but not urgency. Two long feeding tentacles trail behind, thinner than the others. Feelers used to snatch prey, drifting through the black. These are not tools of aggression. They are instruments of survival. It is strange, you think, how something so massive can be so quiet. The giant squid lives in the bathypelagic zone, the midnight zone. No sunlight ever reaches here. Temperatures are near freezing. The pressure would crush a submarine. And yet, this is home. This is where it grows, where it feeds, where it waits. You begin to understand. The ocean makes room for wonder. Even when no one is watching, you drift upward a little and catch sight of another creature, a colossal squid. Larger, thicker, more mysterious still. Where the giant squid is long and flowing, the colossal is stubbier, stronger. Its tentacles hold rotating hooks, curved, sharp, desiring to latch and twist. And yet, it too moves with restraint. It is not a monster. It is a mystery wrapped in muscle. These giants are not predators in the way the land understands. They are not chasing. They are not hunting with hunger in their eyes. They float, they wait, they reach, slowly. They are built for patience, for encounters that last seconds but shape lifetimes. Somewhere above, a sperm whale descends. You feel the tension shift in the water, a pulse, a silence. This is one of the few beings big enough, bold enough to challenge the giant squid. Their battles have been imagined in books, carved in tattoos, whispered across time. Yet now you only see the whale's shadow. The squid is already gone, not in fear, in knowing. The squid survives not by fighting, but by vanishing dotted wraps, itself in a cloud of ink, even here where no one can see it. The ink is not for blinding. It's for hiding scent, confusing predators that track with smell. The squid moves backward, water jetting from its siphon, curling into darkness like smoke escaping a candle. You stay. You wait. You feel the hush return. And in that hush, you begin to think differently about size. On land, we fear what is large. We give it names. We tell stories to shrink it into understanding. But here, in the deep, size is not terror. It is grace. It is distance. It is stillness. You are small, yes, but your smallness is not weakness. It is intimacy. You are allowed to witness. You are trusted with the secret. You drift near a school of tiny squid, barely larger than your hand. Their bodies flash with light in perfect synchrony. They move like a thought, a single decision shared across many minds. Even these small creatures are connected to the giant in shape, in motion, in memory. And you begin to wonder, what else lives here that no one has ever seen? The deep is wide, so wide that entire species live and die without meeting a human eye. There may be squids with longer arms, with stranger shapes, with softer lights. There may be things here with no names, but down here, names are not needed. Only presence, only silence, only awe. And as you hover there, weightless, breath slow, thoughts quiet, you feel something immense moving far below. Not coming for you, not rising, not hunting. Just existing, vast and unseen. And suddenly, it feels comforting to know there are things you'll never fully understand. To know that not all mysteries must be solved. Some are meant to drift in the dark, curling like tentacles through the dream space of the world. You sink gently, deeper still, but the darkness begins to change. It is no longer endless. It is shaped. Below you, pale towers bloom from the seabed, silent and skeletal, rising like spires of bone in the deep. You've left behind the drifting jellyfish, the swimming giants, and entered a stillness filled with structure. This is a place of quiet building, of patient architecture. You have reached the realm of the deep-sea corals. They do not look like their shallow water cousins. There is no bright color, no splash of tropical light. Here, corals are pale pinks and ghostly whites, quiet as breath and cold as stone. But they are alive, piece by piece, molecule by molecule. They do not shout their presence. They do not move or sing. They build, slowly, constantly, without complaint. You drift closer and begin to see the details. Tiny ridges along the branches, each one a mouth, a creature, a builder. Each coral polyp reaches out into the water with delicate tentacles, catching drifting bits of food as they pass. They look fragile, but their patience makes them strong. Imagine this. One coral might grow less than a centimeter a year. 1 inch. Perhaps in a decade, yet over centuries, they form reefs taller than trees, older than cities. Castles built from calcium, shaped not with hands, but with time. You float through them now. Between branches like antlers, walls like frozen lace. They curve in fractals, repeating patterns, quiet mathematics carved into biology. It's as though the sea decided to try sculpting silence itself. You think of time differently here. On land, you mark it with clocks and calendars. Here, it is counted in layers, in growth rings, in the thickness of coral trunks that feel like stone but once were skin. Some of these reefs may be 4,000 years old. That's older than the pyramids, older than paper, older than most memory. You are drifting through history. Not written in books, but built in bodies. And it is not lifeless. No, these coral structures hum with hidden inhabitants. A small brittle star curls around a branch, its arms thin as thread. A ghost shrimp darts backward into a hollow. Deep sea. Crabs perch quietly, white and delicate, their movements careful. Every crack and crevice in the reef is a doorway. Every shadow, a story. Some fish live their entire lives in these coral forests, never straying, always circling, always returning to the same crevice to sleep. They know these pathways, the way you know your own home in the dark. And like a home, the reef provides shelter, safety, food, rhythm. You pause beside a particularly tall coral. It rises like a chandelier, its branches twisting toward nothing. It feels like a frozen firework. Yet every inch was placed by a creature smaller than a grain of rice. No blueprint, no plan, just instinct and time. There is something sacred in that. Something sacred in the slowness. You wonder, for a moment, what it would be like to live without rushing, to build without seeing the end, to shape something that will not be finished in your lifetime, but still be worth beginning. The coral understands this. It builds not for itself, but for the ocean, for the countless lives that will brush its arms, for the stability it brings to the seabed, for the way it breaks the current, slowing water so that larvae, seeds of life, can settle safely. Reefs are the bones of the deep. They hold it in place, and they are fragile, not from predators, those are rare here, but from heat, from change, from carbon that dissolves in water and weakens their bones. Acidification, the scientists call it, the slow dissolving of calcium in seas that are becoming too warm, too strange. The deep used to be protected by distance. But even it can no longer hide from the surface world. You drift past a broken branch. It looks cleanly snapped, like a tree, limb after a storm. A few fish still hide inside it. Life continues, but something is lost. And yet the coral continues. It grows. It rebuilds, slowly, quietly. Without complaint. It teaches you something you did not expect to learn here. That healing does not need to be loud. That rebuilding can be invisible. That growth is still growth, even if no one sees it. You reach out, not with your hand, but with your attention. You give the reef your stillness, and in return, it gives you calm. This is not a dramatic place. It will not make headlines. It will not shout for help. But it endures. And in its silence, it becomes sanctuary. You imagine yourself as coral now, staying in one place, letting time shape you, not rushing, not running, just building, slowly, surely, softly. And as you rise again, gently like mist, you look down at the reef one last time. It does not wave goodbye. It does not need to. It knows you will remember. In your breath, in your bones, you drift, not swimming now, but floating, suspended like a loose thread in the sea's quiet fabric. The water around you hums with stillness, but here and there, shapes move. Quick, slow, curious, cautious, always watching. These are the deep sea fish, the quiet citizens of a world most never see. They do not gather in schools like their sunlit cousins. They drift alone or in silence near others, sharing space without words. They are shaped by darkness. Some have huge, unblinking eyes. Others have no eyes at all, Some stretch long and ribbon-like, as if sculpted by the current itself. Others are tiny, translucent, like glass streams floating just beneath the skin of the ocean. Their lives are slow, not from weakness, but from design. Energy is precious here. There is no photosynthesis, no coral gardens, no abundance. Food drifts down from above in bits, flakes of plankton, dustings of dead things, marine snow that takes weeks to fall. They eat what they can when they can, and wait not always. They wait. One floats past now, a gulper eel, its body long and tapering, like a ribbon pulled through water. Its mouth is massive, stretched wide like a pouch. It can swallow prey larger than itself, not with violence, with patience, with readiness. It does not chase. It simply waits for the ocean to deliver a chance. Another appears, the barrelli fish, with its see-through head. You can look inside it. Literally, its skull is a dome of clear tissue, and within it, two green eyes float, rotating like periscopes. It looks up to find food. It lives in a space where looking forward is not enough. You marvel at the idea, eyes inside the head, protected like jewels. The ocean builds not for beauty, but for survival. And in that, there is its own kind of wonder. Nearby, a fish glows softly from its belly, not to be seen, but to blend in. Counter-illumination, it's called. A way to match the faint light from above, to disappear from the view of hunters below. It glows to vanish. In this world, light is camouflage. Movement is a risk. And sleep is something else entirely. You think of how sleep works on land. Soft pillows, closed eyes, a drifting mind, a full, surrendered rest. But in the deep sea, sleep looks different. Some fish sleep in shifts, half of the brain resting while the other half stays alert. This is called unihemispheric sleep, and it's not just for fish. Dolphins, too, sleep this way. One side of the brain dreams, the other keeps watch. Even in the deepest rest, a part of them must stay awake. Because here, the world never truly sleeps. And neither do its creatures, not all the way. Some fish drift into low-energy states. Not sleep exactly, but a resting stillness. Their heartbeat slows, their movement stops, but their senses remain, waiting for the faint tremble of water, the flick of a fin, the scent of food or danger. Imagine sleeping while listening. Imagine resting with one eye open, not from fear, but from instinct. Would your dreams change if part of you was always watching? You pass a tripod fish, standing motionless on three long fins that touch the seafloor like stilts. It barely moves. It simply waits, its head facing the current, its body perfectly still. It can sit like this for hours, days, even longer. A quiet sentinel on the bottom of the world. It doesn't chase its food. It lets food come to it. There's something peaceful in that, something ancient, to know what you need, to wait, to trust that the ocean will provide eventually. And as you watch, you begin to wonder, maybe not every moment needs motion. Maybe stillness is not the absence of life, but a deeper form of it. You rise a little now, floating past a tiny deep-sea anglerfish. Unlike her terrifying cousin from earlier chapters, this one is small, the size of a walnut. Her lure glows faintly, her body soft, her bones barely formed. In this world, where pressure is intense and food is rare, lightness is survival. She, too, rests between movements, not quite asleep, not quite awake. Her eyes remain open. Always open. The fish here do not blink. There is no need. There is no dust. Only water, always washing. It occurs to you that sleep, as you know it, is a luxury of the surface. Down here, rest is something different. It's scattered through moments, shared between sides of the brain, found in stillness instead of soft. Beds. It is not escape. It is conservation. The ocean teaches that you do not have to disappear to rest. You can rest in plain sight. You can be still without being asleep. You imagine yourself now as one of them. Not walking, not talking, not planning. Just drifting, watching, glowing faintly in the dark. Your mind slows to match theirs. Thoughts become fewer, simpler. What if I wait? What if I listen? What if I don't rush? What if rest is not something you enter, but something that surrounds you, always there? If only you let yourself float inside it. You feel your heartbeat slow. You feel your breath ease. And around you, the fish continue to drift, quiet, alert, glowing, waiting, not quite sleeping, but always close to it. You drift again, not downward this time, but carried gently by the unseen hands of the ocean. Beneath the quiet surface, there are currents, vast, slow-moving rivers flowing through the sea's depths. They are invisible to your eyes, but they pulse like the ocean's heartbeat. These currents are ancient, timeless. They move across thousands of miles, wrapping continents like ribbons, folding around underwater mountains and valleys. They carry life and death, warmth and chill, secrets and stories. You imagine yourself as a tiny particle in this great river, weightless, surrendering to the flow. No need to swim or fight, just float and follow. The deep ocean is not still. It breathes in currents. It moves in slow, deliberate waves that ripple beneath the waves, you know. These currents mix waters from polar ice caps with those near the equator. They blend salt and fresh, warm and cold. And in their movement, they carry nutrients, the food for microscopic plants that live far above, feeding life far below. You feel the slow pulse of this flow through your body. It is a rhythm older than your breath, a rhythm that connects every drop of water to every living thing in the sea. You begin to understand that the ocean is not just a place, but a network, a vast, moving web of life and energy. Sometimes these currents rise to the surface, bringing cold water that nurtures plankton blooms. Other times they sink deep, taking with them the remnants of life from above, feeding creatures that never see the sun. This cycle is endless, a grand, slow dance of give and take. You float past a ridge where cold water sinks, pulling oxygen down like a quiet breath. You think of your own breath, how it fills your lungs and empties again, and realize the ocean breathes too, just on a scale far beyond you. The currents shape the lives of the deep sea. They decide where food gathers, where larvae settle, where creatures migrate. They carry seeds of life, drifting through the darkness for years before finding a place to root. You imagine the journey of one tiny seed, a speck of coral larvae, carried for miles and miles by the ocean's hand. It has no eyes, no senses, no plan, only the slow current to guide it. And yet, somewhere in that drifting, it finds a home. This is the ocean's way of weaving life together. Not by force, but by flow. You feel the slow, steady tug of a current. Beneath you, a gentle reminder that even in the darkest places, nothing is truly still. You are moving, always moving, part of the great ocean story. The currents also carry warmth, sometimes from tropical waters, sometimes from cold polar seas. This mixing shapes the climate of the entire planet. Without them, the world would be colder in some places, hotter in others. The deep sea, seemingly so remote, is tied to the fate of the air you breathe, the weather outside your window. You think of this connection, how everything touches everything else, how the invisible flow of water is also a flow of time, of life, of memory. And just as currents carry water, they carry sound. Low rumbles from distant earthquakes, the clicks and songs of whales traveling thousands of miles, the soft crackle of ice melting at polar caps. The ocean listens and speaks, if you know how to hear. You close your eyes and feel yourself carried by this slow, steady pulse. It is a lullaby sung by the planet itself. A quiet music that has no beginning and no end dot in this moment. You are both still and moving. You are weightless and held. You are small and vast. And as you float, you wonder, what stories have these currents carried? What secrets have they hidden? What dreams have they cradled in their endless journey? The ocean's currents do not rush. They do not tire. They flow endlessly, patiently, shaping the world, shaping life, shaping you. And in their slow, unending dance, you find a kind of peace. You float in the deep dark, where sunlight no longer reaches, but light still lives. Look closely, and the ocean becomes a night sky, not of stars above, but stars beneath. Tiny flickers, soft pulses of bioluminescence, scatter like distant galaxies in the vastness. Each glow is a life, a story told in light. A glowworm drifting, a jelly pulsing, a shrimp blinking in rhythm. Together, they create a quiet constellation, a hidden universe within the deep. You feel your breath slow as you gaze into this cosmic dance. It is endless, yet intimate, vast, yet close. You imagine that each twinkle carries a message, a whispered secret from the ocean's heart, like stars. These lights guide creatures through the dark. Some shine to attract, others to warn, still others to hide. Their light pulses with purpose and poetry. You begin to sense the rhythm, a gentle beat beneath the silence. The deep sea is alive with these sparkling signals. You are surrounded by this luminous chorus, a soft glow that never fades. Your mind drifts with the lights, feeling the vastness both around and within you. You think of the galaxies far above and wonder how similar they feel to this hidden ocean cosmos. Is it possible that the universe and the deep sea speak the same language, light? You imagine yourself as a tiny flicker, a point of light in the dark, part of this endless dance of glow and shadow. You wonder where your own light travels when your eyes are closed and your body sleeps. The ocean stars remind you that even in darkness, there is beauty. Even in silence, there is song. Even when alone, there is connection. And as you float, cradled by the deep, you realize this. You are part of the vastness, and the vastness is part of you. The deep sea's light is not just around you, it is inside you. In every heartbeat, every spark of thought, every quiet breath, you close your eyes and carry this cosmos within. Your dreams become stars beneath your eyelids, softly twinkling, endlessly unfolding. Tonight, you travel the hidden universe, where light is life, and life is light, and both are forever entwined. You are deeper now than you have ever been. There is no light, no current, no shimmer, only darkness so pure, it feels like velvet against your skin, and silence deep, thick silence, like the kind that lives in cathedrals at midnight. But the most present thing here is not the dark. It is the pressure it presses from every side, not as force, not as fear, but as a quiet weight, gently reminding you how deep you've come. At this depth, the pressure is hundreds of times greater than at the surface. It could crush steel. It could crack glass. But it does not crush life. Instead, life here has become something else. Something softer, stranger, wiser. You pass a creature drifting just beneath the seafloor. A sea cucumber, pink and delicate, like a jelly-filled footprint. It looks breakable, but it isn't. It's strong in its softness, made of materials that flex, bend, adapt. It teaches you that in the deep, survival isn't resistance. It's yielding. And somehow, that makes it stronger. Many creatures here have no hard skeletons. Their bodies are built to match the pressure around them. They are not armored. They are open, flexible, patient, shaped by their environment not in defiance, but in harmony. You float beside a snailfish, its body transparent, boneless, fluid. It swims slowly, close to the bottom, carrying its softness like a secret. This fish lives deeper than any other known vertebrate, in places humans can barely even imagine reaching. And yet, it does not struggle. It thrives. You think of how. Often you have been taught that strength must be hard, unyielding, loud. But down here, strength is the opposite. It is quiet, adaptable. Hidden in softness. The pressure is everywhere. It cannot be avoided. But these creatures do not fight it. They have become part of it, and you begin to feel something shift inside you. You feel the metaphor rise gently, like a bubble in reverse. What if the weight you carry is not there to crush you, but to shape you? What if the pressures of life are not obstacles, but tools, compressing, carving, softening you into something new? You close your eyes and feel the pressure on your own body. Not dangerous, just present, a hug from every side, a reminder that you are surrounded, held. Down here. Even sound changes. Voices do not carry. Vibrations move slowly. And yet, some creatures still sing, with pulses, with clicks, with faint electric signals. Their songs are not meant to travel far. They are meant to be felt. You listen closely. They're a faint click, a pulse, a rhythm slow and steady, like a heartbeat made of water. It belongs to a deep-sea octopus resting near a rocky ledge. Its skin shimmers slightly, not with light, but with memory, as if the pigment remembers what light once was. Its arms are coiled, tucked in, not afraid, just conserving. This octopus will sit here for weeks, even months, guarding her eggs. Not eating, not moving, just waiting. She will die before they hatch. And still she waits. There is no glory in it, no spotlight, just quiet purpose. You feel a tightness in your chest, not from fear, but from understanding. This is what pressure creates: devotion, patience, stillness with meaning. You drift past her silently. She doesn't look at you. She doesn't need to. She is part of the deep now, part of something older than time, more ancient than the moon. The weight around you becomes more than pressure. It becomes presence. You start to wonder how many lives you've never noticed that were shaped like this, quietly holding, quietly adapting, quietly becoming. And maybe you're one of them too. You let yourself sink a little deeper. You no longer feel fear. You feel gravity folding around you like a blanket. You feel the sea's embrace. You feel your own body soften inside it. There is nothing to resist. There is nothing to fix, only to feel, only to be, because sometimes, beneath the greatest weight, the deepest transformation takes place. And as you float there, suspended between silence and pressure, you begin to rest, not in spite of the heaviness, but because of it. And somewhere inside you, under all the weight, a new strength begins to form, soft, quiet, and completely your own. This sea, even at rest, is never still. You know this now. You've drifted through its light and darkness, its silence and shimmer, its giants and galaxies. But now, as your breath grows slower and the pull of sleep grows nearer, you meet its final rhythm, the journey. All across the ocean, life is moving, not in chaos, not in fear, but in purpose. Creatures travel vast distances, guided by senses older than memory. They do not question the journey. They simply begin. Above you, somewhere far from this depth, a humpback whale begins her long swim. She has spent months in the polar feeding grounds where the cold water is rich with krill. Now she turns south, thousands of kilometers toward warm, shallow waters where she will not eat, but give birth. Her baby will be born into warmth, into safety, into salt. She has made this journey before. So has her mother. So will her child. You listen for her song, faint and beautiful, traveling through water farther than sound can move through air. Her song is a map, not of places, but of time. She sings of where she's been. She sings of where she's going. Imagine your own song, your own long migration, made not in miles, but in years. What would it sound like if your life had a current? Further below, deep within the trench, a leptocephalus larva drifts east. It is the transparent child of an eel, so fragile it's almost invisible. It floats in the great ocean conveyor, the long, slow flow of water that circles the planet. One day, it will transform into a long, dark-bodied eel and swim upstream into freshwater rivers, perhaps thousands of miles away. But for now, it lets the water carry it. You watch it pass, like a leaf on a dream. It does not know where it will end, but it goes. That is enough. Farther still, the vertical migration begins. Every night, billions of tiny creatures rise from the deep to feed. Plankton, squid, lanternfish. They wait in darkness all day, then rise under cover of night, an oceanic tide made of life. Theirs is the largest migration on Earth, not across continents, but up and down, from silence to shadow, and back again. You drift upward with them, slowly. The water cools. Light returns in the faintest shimmer. Not sunlight, not yet, but the promise of it. You are carried in this living tide, a current made not of water, but of will. It occurs to you that every creature here is called, somehow, by a signal they do not see. Magnetic fields, salinity, water temperature, memory, moonlight. Somehow they know when to leave. Somehow they know where to go. You wonder if your own body knows something you don't. If, while you sleep, it is also migrating, healing, shifting, preparing. Maybe you, too, are following an ancient path. Not one you planned, but one you carry deep inside. The whales don't need maps. The eels don't check the current. They listen to something quieter, something woven into their cells. And maybe you, too, are listening now. The ocean moves in long cycles. Some take years, others centuries. Glaciers melt and drift. Water sinks and rises. Salts shift. Temperatures sway. The sea remembers every movement, and so do you. In your bones, there is ocean salt. In your blood, the same minerals that drift through these depths. You are not separate from this place. You are made of it. You float now, not as a visitor, but as part of it. You are the migration. You are the current. You are the long, slow turning of the tide. And as you drift, you let go of needing to know the destination. You feel peace in the journey itself. There is no hurry. There is no race, only the rhythm, only the breath. Tonight, the ocean carries you, gently, deeply, toward rest. It whispers of whale songs and eel paths, of vertical tides and ancient instincts. It rocks you, soft as silt, calm as time. And as your thoughts grow quieter, as your breath deepens, you feel something loosen inside you, the part of you that holds tension, the part that needs control. It softens because you are already on your way, already floating, already home. The sea does not need you to try, only to drift, only to dream. So let yourself sink now. Let the tide carry you. Let the dark hold you. Let the long migration continue, not across distance, but into yourself. And somewhere far below, or far within, a whale sings, and you rest inside the echo.